Hello. Uh, Hello, everyone. Hi, students. How are you all? So, today we are going to discuss the AIET test, the second AIET test that was held on 26th or 27th of August. So, I hope everyone has given the test and they got their results as well. So, now in this session, we are going to discuss some of the questions or most of the questions of the session, I will say. So, let's start the session and try. I hope that you have tried all the questions of the test during the exam and after the exam as well. So now I'm going to discuss uh, each of the question one by one. So let's start. Okay. So the first question. This is a very basic question of some speed and distance time, distance type of question, in which what it says. Let's suppose question is saying two trains, each of length 150 meter. Okay, there are two trains, keep in mind, are moving in opposite direction at 36 kilometer per hour and 72 kilometer per hour respectively. Time taken by them to just cross each other is. Now, first of all, you should draw the trains actually. I'm just giving you an idea. Otherwise, it's a very basic question. One train is this one, and another train, let's suppose, is this one. Okay. So these are the two trains moving opposite to each other like this. And each is of length 150 meter. Now, the speeds, I will say, the speed of first train is given as 72, no, it's a 36 kilometer per hour. So in meter per second, because answers are in are in seconds. So in meter per second, if I say that will become 36 multiplied by 5 by 18. That is 10 meter per second. So you can write it as 10 meter per second. So it will obviously become 20 meter per second. Is it clear to you? Now, time taken by them to just cross each other completely is. So, first of all, you should know that how much distance they need to cover. How much distance they need to cover. So, if I talk about the distance, total distance moved by them to completely, if, for example, let's suppose this is train A, this is train B. Clear? So, the relative velocity of these trains with respect to each other is 30. The relative velocity, for example, if I say the velocity of train A with respect to B is, everybody knows that VA minus VB. Velocity of A is 10 minus velocity of B is what? Minus 20. Why minus 20? Because it is moving in the left direction. So final velocity is 30 meter per second. This is the velocity. Now, when I'm saying the relative velocity of A with respect to B, that means with respect to A, I am considering B at rest. This is the basic fundamental meaning of the relative velocity. Whenever I am considering the relative velocity of one body with respect to other, that means I am considering the other body to be at rest. So now for me, B is at rest. I am taken is distance over speed. What is the actual distance to travel? That means if it needs to completely overtake or completely cross each other, then it should cover 150 of its own length and 150 of second train's length, that is 300 meter, divided by what is the speed? 30. That is 10 seconds. The time it will take is 10 seconds. I think clear? Very simple fundamental question of relative motion. Moving further. Second question is, a particle moves with a uniform velocity. The statement about the motion of the particle, that is true. Now if I say, you can clearly see that the velocity of the particle is uniform. That means its acceleration is zero. This is a very fundamental question. Whenever acceleration is zero, its speed, the magnitude of velocity, that is, and the direction, both will remain constant. So it is clearly option number B. Moving further. Now next question is, a particle moves along x-axis according to the equation x equals to 6t squared. This is the position which varies with the time, where x is in meter, t is in seconds then. So now the option, you can see, all these options are asking for acceleration, 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 and the path. So I will start with the acceleration thing to calculate. What if I say position is given as x is equals to 6t square. Now everybody knows that velocity will be dx over dt. Now if you differentiate it, it will become 12t. It will become 12t. Now what is the acceleration? Acceleration is what? Differentiation of velocity with respect to time, that is dv over dt, and if you differentiate it, it will become 12. So acceleration of the particle will be 12 meter per second square, which is a constant acceleration. So which option is correct? The acceleration of the particle will be 12 meter per second square. This is the correct answer. Now, we cannot comment on the path of the particle, because path of the particle depends on whether in which direction it's initially moving, what is the direction of acceleration. These two combinations decide whether its path will be parabolic, whether its path will be straight line. It depends on the initial motion and the direction of acceleration, which is not given. So it's not possible. Moving further, the next question. Okay, so there is a diagram. So if I say, in this diagram, if I can draw this diagram again for you all to show you, this is the diagram. One body is suspended something like that. This is this one and this one. Okay, I hope I have drawn it correct. And there is some body which is 2 kg weight. Oh, done. Okay, some angle is also given. This angle is given as 30 degree. Now, the tension T1 in the horizontal string. That means this is the horizontal string in which you want to calculate the force. So first of all, let's just draw the free body kind, the diagram kind of thing. So this is the tension. This is the tension, let's suppose T1. This is the tension, let's suppose T2. And this will be T3. Clear. Now, what are the angles here? You can see that this angle is going to be 90. Very good. And if you can see that this angle is going to be 60, so this is also going to be 60. Clear? Now you know every angle. This angle is going to be 30. Clear? After knowing all these angles, you can use Lami's theorem. What it states, from Lami's theorem. Very famous relation, and most of the times 1 or 2 questions were asked in the examination. Every time in the NEET exam, you will find a question from this. So what you can write, even I hope everybody knows the Lami's theorem. What you need to do, just take one force and the angle opposite to that. So T1 is force in the right direction, and angle opposite to that is this one. This one is the angle. So what is this angle? sine of 90 plus 30. What is the angle is 90 plus 30? Clear? Must be equals to another tension T2 divided by sine of, you can say T2 is this one. And the angle opposite to that is 90 plus 60. This angle is 90 plus 60. 90 plus 60. Now you can clearly know, you can calculate T1 because we know that T2 actually. How we know T2? From this diagram, this is 2 kg weight. And from free body diagram, you can see that T2 is equals to 2 kg weight. So if you know the T2, then T1 will be, T2 is 2 into sine 90 plus 30, that is cos 30, divided by sine 90 plus 60, that is cos 60. Now put the values, that is 2. Cos 30 is what? Root 3 by 2. Divided by sine 60 is what? 1 by 2. You can cancel out the things, that is 2 root 3. Which is your correct option number C. Clear? I think it is clear. Moving further for the next question. Okay. The next question is, a stone is thrown at a speed 30 meter per second, making an angle 45 degree with the horizontal. What is the maximum height reached by the stone? Okay, so this is basic question of projectile motion. What it says, you just want to calculate the maximum height of the projectile. This is a particle which is projected at some angle which is given as 45 degree with some velocity 30 meter per second. So you must remember the formula of maximum height, which is u square sine square theta divided by 2g. Now putting the values, u square means 30 square sine theta. Sine theta, sine 45 is 1 by root 2. If you square it, it will become 1 by 2 divided by g is 10 and 2 means 2. Now if you can solve it, that will become 30 into 30 divided by 2 into 10 into 2. 0 and 0 can be cancelled. So if I divide it, that is 15, that is 1.5. So that will be 225, 22.5 meter. This is simple calculation, nothing else. I hope this question is again clear to you, everyone. Moving further for the next question. Question says if fx is equals to 4x plus 3, that means there is this statement given that f is if that there is a function of x which is 4x plus 3. Now you want to calculate f of 2. Now listen to me very carefully here. What is the meaning of fx? That means f is a function of x. If I want to calculate f2, let's see. What will be f2? You will say just put 2 in place of x. So you will get 8 plus 3. That is 11. Now question says in the next statement, just you don't want to calculate f2 only. You want to calculate f of 2. Now you have calculated the value of this f2, which is 11. So what is the ultimate aim you want to calculate? That is f11. Now put 11 in place of x. If you put 11 in place of x, you will get, that will be 4 into 11 plus 3. That is 44 plus 3, that is 47. Which is your correct option number C. Is it clear? I hope till now everything is clear to you. If you have any problem, you can ask. Now moving further for the next question. Okay. So question is saying two vectors A and B. There are two vectors A and B. So let's just read out the first statement. Two vectors A and B inclined at an angle theta with respect to each other have a resultant C, okay, which makes an angle beta with A. So now before moving further, just draw these things. Okay, so I'm just drawing. There are two vectors. Let's suppose this is A and let's suppose this is B. This is B. And the angle between them is something theta. Clear? And the resultant, according to the question, this, let's suppose this is the resultant C, which makes an angle beta with A. This is the complete statement. Now, reading the next statement, if the direction of A and B are interchanged, okay, A and B are interchanged, then the resultant will have same, which quantity will remain same, magnitude, direction, neither, either, both. So first of all, let's draw it again. So now this vector will become B and this vector will become A, because according to the question, the direction of two vectors interchanged. So now I'm assuming that resultant will be something, let's suppose new resultant is something R, and it makes an angle alpha with the horizontal direction, because initially we have taken the angle beta from the horizontal. According to our diagram, we have taken the angle from that is alpha, beta from the horizontal direction. Now this is our resultant R. So according to the question, we need to check the magnitude and direction. This total angle is theta. Clear? So in the first case, if I say so if you use the simple parallelogram method, then this resultant C will be root of A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. I think this is clear. And the angle, if I say what will be the angle beta, you know that the relation tan beta is equals to B sine theta divided by A plus B, that is A plus B cos theta. I hope you remember this relation. So this is tan beta. The angle which is made by the horizontal direction is tan beta is something B sine theta divided by A plus B cos theta. Now if I say for second case, what will be this is the second case, what will be the resultant? You will say C is equals, it's R that we have considered is equals to root of A square plus B square, first vector square, second vector square plus 2AB cos theta. So you can clearly see that magnitude of first diagram and second diagram is similar. That means magnitude is going to be same. Now let's just check the direction as well. So tan alpha, in this case, the direction angle we have taken as alpha from the horizontal direction. So this tan alpha will be, this time this vector is A, that is A sine theta divided by vector A is B, that is B plus A cos theta. So you can clearly see that direction of the resultant changes from the horizontal direction or some particular defined level, but resultant or magnitude is same. So in this case, you can conclude that which will remain same, magnitude will remain same. So correct option is option number A. Now, is this clear? Moving further for the next question. This question is again based on vector. Question says the sum and differences of two perpendicular vectors of equal lengths are. So first of all, we will draw something. Let's suppose these are two perpendicular vectors. This is vector A and this is vector B. Clear? These are two perpendicular vectors. And both of these vectors are of equal length. Okay. Now, how to you should know actually, if I want to subtract these two vectors, that is A minus B, if I want to calculate this A minus B, then what you should do, you will do, you will add vector A and minus B vector. This is the way you subtract the vectors, because you are just adding the vectors with the direction of these reversed, because these two statements are identical. So if I reverse the direction of B, then it will become something like that. Can you see that? Now the statement will become, you need to add these two vectors, so one, this and this, and A, this is again B, but with reverse direction, so it will become minus B. You can say this is minus B. So if you add these two vectors, it will be resultant of A minus B and it will be resultant of A plus B. So now I am saying whenever you add the vectors, like if I say using this pen, if you add two equal vectors, their resultant will intersect the angle between them. So this is the resultant and it will intersect. That means this angle will be 45. Similarly, if you add this A and B vector, the resultant will again intersect the angle between them. So this angle is again going to be 45. And you know that from the previous question, you can see that the resultant of two same vectors will remain same until and unless the angle between them is not changed. Until and unless the total angle between them is not changed, the resultant, the magnitude of resultant will remain same. That means these A and B, the resultant of these two vectors will be same. So one thing is clear, that resultant will be of equal length. So I will say of equal length and we have an acute angle. So acute angle not. The angle between them is 90 degree. So this option says have equal length and an obtuse angle. No, not obtuse angle. It should be a perpendicular. So they are saying also perpendicular to each other and are at different lengths. No. In this case, lengths should also be same. Option D says also perpendicular to each other and are of equal length. Now this option is correct because length of this R and this R must be same and the angle is 90 degree. So which option is correct? Option D is correct. Clear? Moving further. Okay. The next question is given C is equals to A plus B. Also, the magnitude of A, B, C, R. Okay, so there is a printing mistake in the paper. This is not 15, this is 12 actually. 12, 5 and 13 units respectively. So the angle between A and B is, what should be the angle between A and B? So first of all, there are two vectors A and B. A has a magnitude 12, B has a magnitude 5 and C has a magnitude 13. So this is a pair. You can clearly see that this is a pair of right angle triangle. So either it is clearly visible that angle between A and B must be 90 degree, but we will do it with some process. So what is the process? I will tell you the exact process, how it should go like. So let's suppose this is vector A. I actually, we are assuming that we don't know the result. This is vector B. And the resultant of these two is vector C. Clear. So C is what? Root of A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. I think this is clear. A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. You know that. Now, C is given as 13. So if I remove this under root, so it will become C square. So that is 13 square is equals to root of, I have removed the root actually. So it will become A square. A square means 12 square plus 5 square B square plus 2 into 12 into 5 into cos theta. So 13 square is 169 is equals to 12 square is 144 plus 5 square is 25 plus 120 cos theta. Now you can see that this term is 169, this term is 169, they both can be cancelled. So 120 cos theta is equals to 0. So theta is equals to 90 degree. Theta is equals to 90 degree. So theta is equals to 90 degree, which is option number C. Or you can directly do it using triangular rule of vector addition as well. What does it say? For example, if there is a vector A and there is a vector B, like if I can draw it again, if there are two vectors A and B, whatever you can name it, whether it is A or it is B, the resultant will be this one, that is C. Now, one is 12, one is 5, so this one is 13. This case is possible only when the angle between them is 90 degree. Only then it will follow the same process of Pythagoras theorem. So you can clearly examine the situation using this triangular law of vector addition as well. If you want more precise, more accurate approach, then you can follow this one. Otherwise, this is especially for this particular question, you can use this as well. Moving further. Question says, a car moves from A to B with a speed 30 km per hour and from B to A with a speed 20 km per hour. That means car is going from A to B and then coming back to the original point. What is the average speed of the car? So let's just draw the situation. First of all, let's suppose this is a point A and this is point B, something A and B. First of all, it is moving from A to B with some speed 30 km per hour, and then it is returning back from B to A with a speed 20 km per hour. Clear? Now, what is the average speed of the car? So what is average speed? If you see, average speed is equals to total distance over total time. That is total distance over total time. And if you can notice that the total distance, let's suppose the distance between A and B is x. So the total distance that it will travel will become 2x. No problem with that. Now, total time is what? Let's suppose it has taken time t1 from A to B and t2 from B to A. Because it will take different time because speed is different. Now, t1 is what? Time is equals to distance over speed. That is, time is equals to distance over speed. So what is the distance? Distance is x, speed is 30, plus t2 is what? Total time is t1 plus t2. That means t2 is what? Total distance is again x, speed is what? 20. Now you can simplify this and you will get your answer. What it will become? 2x divided by, if you take the LCM here, that LCM will be 60. That is 2x plus 3x. So what it will become? 2x. This 60 will go in the numerator into 60 divided by 5x. X and x can be cancelled. That is 5, 12. That is 24 kilometer per hour. That is 24 kilometer per hour. Is it clear to you? Very easy question. I think I should move further. Moving further. Now question says, figure shows the displacement time graph of a particle moving on a straight line. Okay, so there is a particle which is moving on a straight line. The sign of velocity and acceleration of the particle respectively at time t. Okay, so this is the time t1 that we are interested about. We want to find the sign of the velocity and the acceleration. Okay. So first of all, this is a displacement versus time graph. So this is displacement, this is time. So you know that the slope of the xt graph gives the velocity. Slope of the xt graph gives the velocity. So if I write one statement here, slope of xt graph gives, this is the punchline, you should remember this, gives velocity. Now, what is slope? Slope is nothing but tan theta. Slope is what? Tan theta. Very good. If slope is tan theta, then how you want to calculate what is theta here? If you draw a tangent like this one, like this is drawn actually, so I can extend this one. If you draw the tangent, then this angle is theta. So theta is always considered from the positive side of the x-axis. From the positive side of the x-axis, theta is considered. So if you know about tan theta, until the theta is acute, or you can say up to 90 degree, up to 90 degree, just before 90 degree, tan theta is positive in the first quadrant, or I will say first quadrant, tan theta is positive. Clear? In the first quadrant, theta is positive. That means you can see here, in this particular case, the tangent I have drawn, this is known as slope, and this slope has some acute angle, or this angle lies in the first quadrant. First quadrant, that means tan theta is in first quadrant, I will say first quadrant. That means it is positive. So what does it mean? That one thing that is to be learned here, that slope, that is means tangent gives the velocity. Tangent on what? Xt graph gives the velocity. And if the angle theta lies in the first quadrant, then it will be a positive velocity. So that means velocity is positive. Now, next thing is what? Can you see here? If I say, let's suppose this is the graph. This is the graph. Clear? Now I am saying, what is the meaning of positive acceleration and what is the meaning of negative acceleration? Positive acceleration means when velocity keeps on increasing with the time, and negative acceleration means when velocity keeps on decreasing with the time. So in this particular case, you can see that if I say this is our time t1, just take a time before it and just take a time after it. If I consider the time just before it, if you draw the tangent will be something like that, and this angle, let's suppose, is alpha. And if you take a time just after that, the tangent will be something, you know, the tangent, I think the tangent will be something like that. This angle will be beta. Can you see that angle is increasing? Angle is increasing, that means slope is increasing, or you can say tan theta is increasing, or you can say velocity is increasing. All these things are same. If velocity is increasing with the time, if velocity is increasing with the time, that means acceleration is going to be positive. I hope the concept is delivered in the process. What is the meaning of positive acceleration? That velocity should increase, and velocity should increase means slope will also increase. So in the case, this is the required time t1, this is the time just before t1, this is the time just after t1. So just after t1 and just before t1, you can see that slope is increasing, the velocity is increasing. That means the acceleration of the particle is also positive. So from this you can conclude that velocity is positive and acceleration is positive. That means both are positive. So option B is correct. Clear? Moving further for the next question. Okay. In this question, just read out the question by pausing the video. What it says, for a particle moving along a straight line, the displacement x varies with the time t according to the relation. Okay, so x-t relation is given where alpha, beta, gamma, and delta are constant. The ratio of its initial acceleration and initial velocity. What is the meaning of initial acceleration and initial velocity? That means they are talking about the time at which t equals to 0, or initial time means t equals to 0. So this is the meaning of initial. So one thing that I will say here, x is given as something alpha t cube plus beta t square plus gamma t plus delta. And they are asking for the initial acceleration and initial velocity. Oh, sorry. So for the calculation of velocity and acceleration, if I want to calculate velocity, I just need to calculate dx over dt. And this dx over dt, if you differentiate it, it will become 3 alpha t square plus 2 beta t. I hope everybody knows the differentiation, plus gamma, and delta is a constant. That means its differentiation will be 0. This is velocity. Now, again, if I talk about what will be the acceleration, acceleration is what? dv over dt. If you see, calculate dv over dt, it will become, you need to differentiate it, it will become 6 alpha t plus 2 beta, and gamma is constant now, so gamma is going to be 0. Clear? Now, if I talk about initial velocity, v initial, that means at time 0, at t equals to 0. If you calculate v initial, just put t equals to 0 and you will get gamma. In this relation, if you put time 0, you will get gamma. And in this relation, if you put t0, that means you will get acceleration initial, which will be t0, you get 2 beta. So question says the ratio of initial acceleration and initial velocity. If you calculate the ratio of initial acceleration and initial velocity, you will get 2 beta over gamma. So this ratio depends on beta and gamma. So just find out the option in which it is given. This is saying alpha, wrong. So this is saying beta and gamma. So this option is correct. Beta and gamma. Clear? Moving further. Okay. This is the question of motion under gravity. Very good. From the top of a tower, a particle is thrown vertically downward with velocity 10 meter per second. So particle is thrown downward with velocity 10 meter per second. Okay. The ratio of distance covered by it in third and second of its motion. Okay, so they are not talking about in 3 seconds or in 2 seconds. They are talking about third second and second. Okay, it's not second, it's second Okay. It's quite simple a question if you can notice. Let's suppose if I can draw, this is a building or a tower, whatever you want. Okay. So from here, a ball is thrown downward with some velocity 10 meter per second. Okay. Now, if I say, if I say that what is the distance moved by the particle in the nth second? So you must remember a relation as or distance moved in the nth second is u plus half a 2t minus 1, or in the tth second, or any number of second, what is the distance moved by the particle? So this is the distance moved by the particle in a particular second. So you can put the values. I am putting it for t equals to 3, that is third second. Third second I am putting. So that will be, I will, let's take this distance is s1 is equals to, what is the velocity? You will say minus 10. Why minus 10? Because velocity is in the downward direction. Half acceleration is also in the downward direction, which is g. And if I take g as 10 meter per second, which is mentioned, so that is minus 10. Put t equals to 3, that is 6 minus 1, that is 5. So what is this distance? S1 is going to be, you can divide it by 5. So that is 25 and 10, 35. That is minus 35 meter. In the third second, it has moved minus 35 meter distance. Or this is displacement. Distance moved is 35. Now, if I talk about for t equals to, second, just put t equals to 2 in this equation, you will get, let's suppose this distance is s2 is equals to, u is again minus 10, minus half, a is 10, minus 10, t square, 2t minus 1. 2t minus 1 is 4 minus 1, that is 3. So that will be 5, 3, 15 minus 25. Minus 25 meter. So you want to calculate the ratio. If I calculate the ratio of this S1 and S2, S1 and S2 will be 35 by 25. That will be 7 by 5, which is again option number B. Option number B. I hope this question is clear. For this question, or whenever you see the distance or displacement in a particular second, you should remember this relation. Somebody may call it as fourth equation of kinematics. It's a different choice, but this is the relation you should remember. Moving further. Okay. So let's start. Just read this question out. The speed time graph of a particle moving along a fixed direction is shown in the figure. Okay. The distance traversed by the particle between t equals to 2 second to t equals to 6 second. So whenever you find there is a speed time graph, and they want to calculate you the distance. So the first thing that came to your mind is the area under the ST graph gives the distance or displacement. That's the one thing that should strike in your mind. But if I see the question, it is saying from t equals to 2 second to 6 second. If I see 2 second will lie something here and 6 second will lie something here. So you just need to calculate the area of this portion only, which is not a very easy task, I will say. So you can use kinematics for that as well. So I am just drawing the diagram to give you a more accurate picture of the things. I am just drawing a rough diagram here. This is our speed and this is our time. So what the graph looks like is something like that. This one and this one. Clear? This is t equals to 5. This is t equals to 10. This is obviously 0. And this is 12. Now, clear. So if I say what is going to be the procedure? What is going to be the procedure? Let's suppose this is t equals to 2. I'm assuming that this is t equals to 2 second and this is t equals to 6 second. Clear? So can you see that this is a straight line? Let's suppose this is O, A, and B. From O to A, the slope is a straight line. The path is a straight line. That means it is moving with some constant acceleration. And this acceleration is positive. By the previous discussion that we did in the previous question or one or two question back, the graph question, we can understand that slope is positive. That means this is going to be acceleration. Now from A to B, you can see that slope is negative. That means this is negative acceleration. One or two things are clear here. So from O to A, there is a certain type of motion, and A to B, there is a certain type of motion. So first of all, we will calculate the acceleration of these two motions. So I am starting for motion O to A, O to A. What will be the acceleration? Acceleration will be the slope of the speed time graph. Speed is V, time is T. Slope of the speed time graph, and the slope is perpendicular over base. If I say, what is this distance? 12 divided by 5. So acceleration is what? 12 by 5 meter per second square. This is the acceleration of the particle. Now, if you want to calculate the distance moved from 2 to 5 seconds, so which kinematic equation you can use to get the distance? S is equals to ut plus half at square you can use. For that, you must know the velocity at t equals to 2. So what I'm saying, for t equals to 0 to 2, 0 to 2, the velocity is equals to u plus at. Acceleration is 12 by 5 into time is 2. So that is 24 by 5. Velocity is 24 by 5 meter per second. This is the velocity of the particle at t equals to 2 seconds. Now you can use kinematic equation from this point to this point to get the distance. Now what I am doing, from 2 second to 5 second. Distance is S is equals to ut plus half at square. Distance is u is what? You can get u. U is 24 by 5. Time is what? T square. 2 second to 5 second, that is 3 second, that is 9 plus half. Acceleration is what? 12 by 5 into T square is 9. So if you can simplify it, this is becomes 6. So if you can simplify it, that will be uh, 6. 126 by 5 plus 54 by 5. You can take the LCM and you will get this answer. So this answer will be something 10, 8, 180 by 5, if I am not wrong. You can divide it as well. So total distance from 2 second to 5 second is this one. Clear? Now, 2 second to 5 second, we know the distance traveled is this one. Now I need to calculate the distance traveled from 5 second to 6 second. This portion I need to calculate. This portion. If I need to calculate this much distance, then again I will do one thing, that I will again use this equation s equals to ut plus half at square. Acceleration, I know that in this process, if I say A to B, acceleration is minus 12 by 5 meter per second square, because the slope is negative in this case and direction magnitude will be same. You can see that 12 by 5. So acceleration I know. What I don't know is the velocity at A. So the velocity at A you can calculate here. 0 to 5 second, if I say, velocity will be V is equals to 0 plus A is 12 by 5, V is 5, that is 12 meter per second. So at this point, velocity is 12 meter per second and acceleration is minus 12 by 5. So distance again I will calculate from t equals to 5 to 6. If you calculate the distance, s is equals to ut plus half at square and put the values. U is what? 12. T is nothing but 1 minus half. A is what? 12 by 5. T square is just 1. Clear? 5 to 6, time is 1 second. So it will be 6. So that is 12 minus 6 by 5. That is, if you take the LCM, 60 minus 6, that is 54 by 5 meter. This is the distance traveled from A to B. From 5 second to 6 second. This is the distance traveled. Now, if you calculate the total distance, it will be 180 by 5 plus 54 by 5. That is 4, 13, 234 by 5. And if you can divide it, it will be 4 something 46 point something. And if you calculate it, it is 46 point something. That means it is around 47, which is your option number C. Which is your option number C. Right? Is it clear now? I hope this question is clear to you. Okay. So this is about 47. If I move further for the next question, can you just check one thing? If I check this particular part, can you see that this is UT? So time is what? 2 to 5 seconds. That is 3 seconds. And actually, we have committed some mistake here. So we need to just simplify, just again correct it. This is not a square. This is going to be 3. This is going to be 3. 3. So if I again add these things, I need to simplify this thing again. I need to simplify this thing again for the correct. That is 74 by 5, 72 by 5 plus 54 by 5. And if you say 4 and 2, 6, 5 and 7, 12, 126 by 5. This is what S1. The initial distance S1 is 126 by 5. Now S2 is what? 54 by 5. And if you add these two results, if you add these two values, what you will get, this is 126 by 5, and this is 6, 4, 10, 5 to 7 and 8, and this is 180 by 5. 180 by 5 is 5 3s are 15, 3, 5, 6. That is 36 is the total distance. So which is not option number C. This is going to be option number uh, B, I will say. This is going to be option number B, which is going to be our correct answer. So that was a silly mistake. We put a square here. That was a silly mistake. I hope you understand. Is this clear? Now moving further for the next question. Question is very easy, but calculation might take, it feels like that calculation is very lengthy, but it is not. It's just the easiest question you will get, but little bit of lengthy, I will say. Otherwise, it's easy question. You can definitely attempt the question. Okay. Another question. A car moving with velocity v, with some speed v actually, on a straight track can be stopped in a distance x by applying brakes. Okay. So you are applying brakes, which the car originally was moving with speed v, and it has traveled a distance x before coming to rest. Okay. So let's, by this information, what you can get. After that, they are saying if same car is moving with the speed 2v and brakes provide half the retardation, then car will stop after traveling distance. So this is a simple question. Let's suppose this is a car. What kind of car is this one? This is new modern era car, which is moving in the horizontal direction with some speed v. And finally, its speed has become 0. Now this is look more like a Thar. Its speed has become 0 meter per second. And in the whole process, it has traveled a distance x. So that means there is a retardation which is applied by the brakes. So how much is the retardation in this case? You will say, so retardation, you will say v square is equals to u square plus 2as is the equation. And if you see, final velocity is 0, initial velocity is v, plus 2a, and distance traveled is x. So what is the retardation? A is equals to minus v square by 2x. If I am not wrong, this is the acceleration. Just check for the simple calculation mistakes. A is equals to minus v square by 2x. This is the acceleration. Now in the second statement, the question says, now what it says, the new acceleration, let's suppose it is a dash, it is providing half the retardation, that is minus v square by 4x. This is the new retardation. And new velocity, or you can say initial velocity, is 2 times. Now question is changed, and then now I will draw some good looking car. It is moving with velocity 2v, and ultimately it will again stop. It will again stop, its velocity is again 0. Then how much distance it will cover? Let's suppose this distance is s. So you can write it here for the second case. Again, v square is equals to u square plus 2as. Putting the values, v is final velocity, which is 0. Initial velocity is what? 2v. That is 4v square. Acceleration is what? 2. Acceleration is what? Minus v square by 4x. that is v square by 4x of minus and distance traveled is s. Okay. So if you can transfer things, it will become minus 4v square is equals to, you can cancel this 2 and 2, is equals to minus v square s by 2x. Minus and minus can be cancelled. V square and V square can be cancelled. So S is equals to 8x. 8x, which is our correct option number B. Clear? I think we have done a lot of questions here. Okay. Let's do one more question, and after that we will wrap the things because time is too much actually. We have taken a lot of time due to the time foundation. Just read the question. A scooterist sees a bus 1 kilometer ahead of him. Okay. Moving with a velocity 10 meter per second. Okay. So bus is moving with a velocity 10 meter per second. With what speed the scooterist should move so as to overtake the bus in 100 seconds. So let's just draw the situation for the better understanding. From this, you will understand that every time I am just drawing a question, drawing a diagram for the better understanding of the question. Let's suppose this is the bus. Okay, and this is the bikeist or the scooterist, whatever. This is the scooterist. Okay, this is the handle. And these both are moving on a straight line. Clear? Okay. Now, 1 kilometer, this distance is 1 kilometer. And answer is giving in meter per second. So can you say that this distance is 1000 meter? If I am not wrong, you can see that. Now, the bus is moving with something 10 meter per second. With what speed the scooterist should move so as to overtake the bus in 100 seconds? That means he must overtake, he must catch the bus in 100 seconds. So I'm just saying that after 100 seconds, let's suppose both, I am not drawing both bus and scooter. So bus and scooter both are at this point. Let's suppose after 100 seconds, clear? So in 100 seconds, how much distance the bus will have moved? So bus will have moved. Can you see that? The distance, let's suppose this distance moved is D. The distance moved by bus is D, and that in 100 seconds, the distance moved by the scooterist is something you will say. Can you say that it is D plus 1000, if I am not wrong? Because this separation is 1000 meter. So scooterist will move 1000 meter extra, D plus 1000. In the same time, that is T, that is 100 seconds. Clear? So what I say, in 100 seconds, this is bus and this is scooter. Can you see that the difference between the distances traveled by two? Okay, sorry for the interruption. Actually, the network was, I lost the network somewhere. So now, what I am saying, that distance, the difference between the distances traveled by these two is 1000 meter. It has traveled D, it has traveled D plus 1000. So if you subtract the distances, that it will be 1000 meter. Can you see that? Or I will say scooter minus bus distance traveled by scooter minus distance traveled by bus is equals to 1000 meter. Clear? So distance traveled by scooter is what? 1000 meter. Minus distance traveled by bus is what? Okay, distance traveled by scooter is not 1000. Distance traveled by scooter is, let's suppose its speed is v. So that is v into time is 100 minus distance traveled by bus is 1000 is equals to 1000. Now you can simplify it. This will become 2000. So v into 100 is equals to 2000. You can cancel out these two zeros. So velocity is 20 meter per second. This question is quite obvious. The given condition you should understand that the initial separation between them is 1000 meter. That means it must travel 1000 meter extra. So the difference between two distances is 1000 meter. You can simplify it. Okay. So on that note, I am ending the session. There are a lot of questions we have covered actually. So let's end the session. Bye everyone. Hope you learned a lot of new things. Bye.